So I have the privilege and honor to introduce our very special guest speaker. And I am just so happy that he said yes and he's here tonight. And you'll learn more about him in a minute. But I'd like to showcase or highlight his impressive career in aviation. So with an impressive 20-year career as a Marine Corps fighter pilot, followed by 23 years at FedEx and 14 years as a captain, our special guest tonight brings a wealth of aviation experience to our chapter. He is currently a CFI, MEI instructor at Excel Aviation right here, specializing in Pitts, Super Deep, Cub, and Cessna 172 aircraft. His expertise extends to float plane instruction in Alaska, where he mastered the PA-18, C-172F, and C-206. To top it off, he is a PIC in the citation expert jet.
10.
And to top it off, he's my amazing Aerobatic CFI, and he's always been. So anyway, he's here with us tonight to delve into the critical topic of why airplanes stall and spin, and to share his invaluable insights on the hands-off recovery method. We are blessed for this exceptional opportunity to gain knowledge from a true aviation expert himself. Let's all welcome my Aerobatic CFI and good friend, Mike Healey.
Thank you. I leap tall buildings. I do all that. Holy mackerel, who could follow that? All right, I have a rule. If we're not having fun, we're screwing it up, okay? How many airline pilots are here? Okay.
Former.
Okay, cool. How many CFIs? Okay. How many Air Force guys are here? Okay. How many Navy guys? No good guys? Any Marines in the group? Okay, all right. If you're an airline pilot, I'm going to ask you a question. How do you make $2 million? How do you make $1 million? Start with 2. That's right. Exactly right. How do you make copper wire? Drop a penny between 2 airline captains. Right? All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about all this. So I flew the F4 and I flew the F-18. Sometimes good days, sometimes bad days. As they say, poop happens, right? That was one of those days I flew test flying, and these things happen, right? The main thing I tell students, wind the clock. Something happens, a light comes on, stop, wind the clock, think. All right? So, who are my private pilots? Who would like to volunteer?
Don't look at me.
No, you look right at me. All right. Why does this airplane fly? Let's say I have, let's say this is an 1,800-pound airplane, and I've got to lift it into the air. Why does it fly?
Thrust.
Okay. An F4 is proof to that. You've got enough thrust, you can make a brick fly, right? Okay. So I've got to generate lift.
Right.
Let's say this is 1,800 pounds. I've got to generate lift. How do I do it?
By going faster and go with the wind.
That's exactly right. You have to generate speed. Now, there's the Bernoulli fairy tale. Would anybody like to hear it? This is what the FAA teaches. Okay, so we have 2 Bernoullis. Fast Bernoulli, who runs faster on top of the wing, and slow Bernoulli, who runs lower, creating a high pressure here and a low pressure here, because fast Bernoulli, because the wing has more surface area, he runs faster. How? We have no idea. This is how it works. Stick your hand out of a car. Deflect it. Newton's third law, right? Deflect it. That's really how airplanes fly, right? We can get into Bernoullis. How many aeronautical engineers are there? Okay. So everything I just said, sorry. I spent 3 months at the Naval Postgraduate School with aeronautics. And then the guy we said, well, wait a minute, we have a question. What made the Bernoulli on the top go faster? What accelerated that Bernoulli? How did the two Bernoulli start here and here? And he went, So in the Marine Corps, we have a thing. You can do this to me. This is raising your watch. When the BS gets that high, save your watch, right? Okay, so how does the airplane stall? What causes an airplane to stall? Correct. You have relative wind. You have angle of attack, so you exceed a critical angle of attack. Okay, so if the airplane stalls, what has happened? Yeah, boundary layer separation. So with lift, what do you have? Drag. The more you pull back, the more your angle of attack. So let's say it's 18 degrees angle of attack will cause a stall. Most airplanes. Okay, so how can I take an airplane, like Ava and I do all the time, get it going 200 miles an hour, pull it straight up? Why doesn't it stall? Correct. Energy and momentum. Now, I'll ask you this question. So let's say I take that airplane and I get it going as fast as I can, I pull it straight up, I release the controls, I leave the throttle. Is it going to spin? Think about it. What's your vote? Spin? No. No, correct. It won't spin. What causes a spin?
Adverse yaw.
Well, adverse yaw is part of it. You have a stall and increase a yaw moment with it, right? So if I take the airplane, I pull it straight up, and I keep the ball in the center, even though the engine's going full blast, am I going to spin? Correct. Now, let's say I take the same airplane and I pull it up, and this is what gets most young pilots. They get it up into a stall, and it stalls, and they see the ground. It's like, oh my God, they pull back, right? Oh no, now I'm spinning left. Why? You stalled it, the engine's going full blast. What's going to happen? The only thing that can happen. Oh my God. Now what do? They put an aileron down. How good was that? Right? What did you just do? This wing is stalled more than this wing, right? You put an aileron down, what did you just do? There's your adverse yaw, and you also increase the camber. It's an airfoil, and now you're really going to spin, and not only are you going to spin, it's really going to go. And then by not taking the power out, what's the airplane trying to do? Because that's what the young pilot's going to do. He's going to go, oh my God, I'm going to add power. I'm spinning real fast, and that's what happens, flat spin. I put Ava in, I can't tell you how many flat spins she gets out of it every time, and I'm going to teach you how. All right, so Ava and I are just flying along one day. Everything is going good. We're having a nice day. We're flying along. And I said, hey, Ava, let's look over here to the left. Let's see what we see. Whoops. Oh, shoot. Oh, okay, I see it now. Now pull back up. Okay. I'm going to teach you, Mr. Youngblood, 3 words that you're going to repeat. Power, stick, rudder. Okay? All right, this is the emergency hands-off recovery. Guys, if you ever get in trouble, you're doing an aerobatic maneuver, please don't do this unless you've had instruction. I'll be happy to jump in with you anytime that you need to. Power, get the fan off. Pull the power, let go of the stick. Why is it spinning? Will an airplane spin? You did it. Let go. Stop. Whatever you did. Put your feet on the floor, let go of the damn stick. Stop doing what you're doing. When you figure out which way it's turning, now you've taken the ailerons out. The worst thing you can do is put ailerons, right? Why? Because what we just said, the adverse yaw, the increased camber, and the rotational effect, this thing is really going to go. Who likes a boring lecture? Nobody. We made movies of all of these things. Poor Ava. Here's the rules. I'm in the back, the evil genius, right, behind the curtain. So I'm the villain, so you can boo me, but you can cheer for Ava, because I told her, no matter what I do, you can't do anything until I say recover. So of course, I'm going to start everything upside down spinning, right? And then I'm going to reverse it to further confuse her, right? All right, so let's hit it.
My very first spin and accelerated spin aerobatic maneuver training.
So accelerated,
Yeah.
outspin aileron, that's really going to help. Notice where she puts the stick. Actually, it's the evil genius doing that. She's just sitting there, and I go, just relax, and let's get this thing going. Now, we're really gonna make it interesting. When you see my hand holding the bar behind her, something very bad is gonna happen. She doesn't know. She's just sitting up there calmly. Oh no, Ava, what's happening? Oh no. Now we're inverted because I've got forward stick, and now I reverse. And now I put her into a flat, accelerated spin. Works every time. Power, stick, rudder.
You pulled a 6.5.
We did?
Yeah, like every time my sunglasses come off.
Yeah. That's how, if you ever get into trouble, remember, you did it. The airplane can't spin, it won't spin unless you make it. This one might be worse. And I tell her, just sit there and just wait and wait. Oh, now I reversed it. And now I put it into my hip pocket. Now it's really going to go. Power, stick, rudder. And she stopped it on a dime every single time.
Good job, Ava.
Yeah, no, she's... now I'm going to try to trick her. This is an actually well-performed hammerhead where she goes, can I just do something without you messing with me? I'm like, sure. That is a beautifully performed hammerhead maneuver. So now I'm bored back there. I got nothing to do. She's already doing all these magic recoveries, does a perfect hammerhead. I'm like, okay, what can I do to really get her? Okay, this is not good. Go ahead and stop this for a minute, Ava. So an Immelman is simply this. It's a half loop and we roll on top. But what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to snap roll it upside down, spin it, and then reverse it, right? Whatever I can do to get her nervous is what I like to do. But it doesn't work, right?
Look at my face.
No. Here we go. She's like, oh God, now what? Now what has the evil Lord done? Power, stick,
I wish
rudder.
you could see the stick because it didn't catch on.
Yeah.
So I went like this.
Yeah. Any questions on the hands-off recovery? It won't work on every airplane. Let's say your airplane requires full forward stick, right? There are some airplanes where this will not work, but it's a great first step. Take the big fan out of it. Let go. If you start putting ailerons while you're spinning, you are really going to spin. However, I'll tell you this. If you had taken the aileron and put it into the spin, it would have recovered. But don't do that. Just do it. That's for another lesson.
If you're upside down, power's out,
Yep.
just let go, you're looking at rudder, is it the same way you just sit
Yes,
on the wall?
exactly. You're upside down and you're looking at the horizon. Whatever the way the world is going, stop it with that foot. Just, it doesn't matter. But if you start doing this and that, now you're going to go from negative to positive, upright to inverted, inverted to upright. Don't want to do that. Let go. Let the stick, it'll go to mechanical center, right? How many spins have we done, Ava?
Oh.
Thousands.
Yeah.
We do it every time. She loves to spin. She goes out by herself just to spin. Because, now, I'm going to ask questions. How many of you have done stalls? Intentional. How many of you done spins? Okay. How many have you done unintentionally stalled the airplane? Like you didn't mean to, you were doing something and you stalled. I was screwing around. Okay, kill me. I was goofing around and I stalled the airplane. Sorry. Trying to do something really cool and accidentally stalled. How many of you have unintentionally spun? Ava, I know you have. Okay. Right? Where you're in a maneuver, right, and it doesn't go well. I've never seen this before in a Citabria. She pulled it straight up and snap rolled it in the vertical. I've never seen that. Didn't know it could be done until we did it. And we were both laughing so hard, and I was like, wow, I didn't know that could happen. And so what happens is it starts an inverted spin. Power, stick, rudder. Just like that, it stopped.
This is over this now. Unintentional.
This was the unintentional one. This was the one that we were both laughing when it was done. Whoops. Whoops.
You can see it there, but I just let go of the stick.
Yeah.
Don't follow me.
TikTok, you're evil. You're evil. This is us having a tough day at Tracy. So Ava is an aerobatic competitor. Here's the funny thing. I've been teaching aerobatics for years. I've been flying over 40 years. I think I had a stat, 20,000 hours, 8,000 of instruction, etc., all kinds of emergencies. But this is the most fun I've ever had. She goes, well, that's great. Can you teach me how to do that? I go, yeah, I can teach you how to do that. How about aerobatic competition? I go, sure. How many have you done? None. 0. She goes, you've never competed? I said, no. How hard could it be? Right? What's up with that? So anyway, we learned together, but she did really well. That's that trophy right there. She was flying a Citabria. That's the two of us in Tracy in competition. She was flying a Citabria. She beat a Christian Eagle, a Pitts, and a Super Decathlon. Not because, right? Not because it's the coolest airplane. It's the lowest powered, least aerobatic airplane probably in the world, but she flew it elegantly. And we'll show you that, right? Okay, so now, are we going to see the arrestee? Okay.
Coming up. So this is, we're doing what we call hanger dance.
Correct. We'll show you the hanger dance. Do you want to explain the arrestee? Or do you want me to do it?
No, we're going to show it.
Okay, we're going to do the hanger dance. But let me...
You're going to dance?
This is the... And by the way, you guys stay out of the hangar while we're dancing, would you? Every time... And I think it's because I'm good looking. I don't know.
That's what it is.
Right?
Which one do you want?
I'll take the F-18, of
There
course,
you go.
right? You can have the 172. So basically think of the airplane. We'll dance here in a minute. Think of the airplane. We're drawing a line with the airplane. So we're going to take the airplane. This is 45 up, level, 1.5 spin. So we start at 4,000 feet. We drop down to 3,500. And we do this. And then we continue to a half Cuban 8, right? To a loop. Competition turn. And we finish with an aileron roll.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a slow roll. Supposed to be a slow roll. Okay, so hanger dance.
Okay. So of course I learned this from him, and every time we supposed to start like a practice, or after the pre-flight, we do the hanger dance, my hanger, and
Right.
and
all of you guys are always in it while we're doing this.
Yeah.
Right?
So this is the arrestee, as he said. So just follow. Basically, we're following that. I've memorized it because I've done it a million times. Well, not a million times, but a few times. Okay, so we start off. We're diving into the box, which, by the way, this is the box. Real quick. Put it on the, this is Tracy Airport. Runway 30 is right there, and we have to remain within the box. If you go a little over or below, it's a hard 0, even if you do a really good maneuver.
So dimension-wise, 1,000 meters by 1,000 meters. So that's about 3,300 feet long, 3,300 feet wide, 4,000 feet at the top. You can't go below 1,500.
Yeah.
All right.
And you cannot go outside of perimeters
Correct.
of the aerobatic
Right.
box. So anyway, so we always start off, the Tarabia takes a while to climb up, especially in 100-degree heat. So once they announce, Ava, the box is yours, just say, the box is mine.
Right.
The box is mine. So basically, I'm ready to start. And we start at 4,000, we dive, we lose 500. And then fly level, 45 degree. And then at this point, just like what he taught you guys, power idle, because we're trying to spin. So power idle, level, and then here comes the spin, let go.
So there's half,
Half, we have to count, it has to be precise.
one,
1 1/4,
recover,
cover, full power, and then facing now this way. And then at this point, full power and level. Level, and then we're getting ready for a half Cuban 8, and let's go. I'm going to turn this way. This is half Cuban 8, make sure full power, level, and then this time loop. And this is the fun part because it has to be elegant. So here we're floating, so we're not pinched. So here, make sure full power and no stopping, full power, 90-degree bank, competition turn. And then draw a line here. Again, full power, level. This is the hard part for my airplane. Slow roll, which is aileron roll. So I have to do 30 of pitch and then do the roll. In a better advanced plane, you just do a slow roll.
Just take your fingers and you go like that. But anyway, her airplane, when you see her do these maneuvers, her face, you can't tell. We're pulling 4 to 5 Gs every time, and probably half over the top. You'll never see it on her face, but here's one thing you will see. When she does an aileron roll, it's for keeps. She grabs the side of that airplane and grabs a stick and puts them together. That airplane, let me tell you, I sit in the back of a lot of these things, and it's like, wow, holy crap. That's how quick it is.
Ava, you roll back, I guess, you uninvert on the 45 down out of the half Cuban?
So, okay, so yeah, the half Cuban is basically half of the loop.
Yeah.
But when you're inverted, that's when you turn, that's when you roll.
You roll out.
Yeah, that's why it's a half Cuban, so you should be finishing off on the opposite side. If
Yeah.
you do a full Cuban, you do the same thing and finish off where you started.
So it should look like this: up, over, and I'll tell her, you'll hear my commands: pull, float, stop, roll, stop, level. So you'll hear, I don't know if you can hear the commands, but that's how I've trained her, kind of a military way. All right, so we can,
Okay, so that was the recipe.
now we can watch the movies.
Yeah. So this is obviously watching from the ground. So that's me. We're getting into the box. And that's when they announce the box is mine. We do the wag after we dive in. Those are the judges that you hear in the background. So that's the wag. We do 3, just to let them know I'm ready. And there's the 45-degree pitch. It has to be precise. It has to be 45 degrees. And then power idle. Getting ready for spin. Half, 1 1/4 recover. And then full power, level. Getting ready for a half Cuban. Half a loop. Inverted. And turn, roll. Then getting ready for a loop, full power. And half Cuban. I honestly believe this is how I want, because it's so round. It has to be round, it cannot be pinched. And then competition turn 90 degree. And then getting ready for the hardest part for me,
Right.
slow roll or aileron roll. We're not supposed to lose altitude there. It always does. And the plane always does because of that. And then just wag out, let them know I'm done, finished. And then you need to get out of the box.
What's your entry speed at the loop?
At the loop, it was actually 60, 70, but you have to pull it hard.
160.
160, but
One something.
when we're inverted,
Yeah.
when we're floating, there's really no speed.
We were between 0 and 40
Yeah.
every time over the top. Today, we took the pits up just for fun because she hadn't flown the pits in a while. And I said, well, let's go out and have some fun. She was coming over the top at an average of 40 miles an hour.
Anyway, this is the full highlights. This is from the cockpit on the competition day 2. Getting ready for the spin.
Watch her eyes as she tracks the ground line.
Half evening.
Right on the 45 down.
Blue.
And watch her eyes.
Competition turn. Slow roll.
Here we go. Hang on, is all I can tell you. If you fly with Ava, and you should all fly with Ava, hang on. That's all I can tell you.
These are all the winners.
Well done.
And then there's at Byron was the awards night.
All right. You got the biggest total.
Very nice. Thank you. But I could not have done it, obviously, without the amazing returning colonel, Mike Healey. So thank you.
No, she did it. I sat back there, all I did was pontificate and criticize. But it's the dedication. If you guys get a chance to fly with her, you should. You really should. All right, that's all. Any questions at all? Sir?
So this is a completely practical question.
Okay.
It's about the box, the acrobatic box. Tracy, I didn't know there was one. It's
Yeah.
something we should know.
Yeah, exactly. It's by NOTAM.
Feet, we go through there.
Oh, yeah. Well,
It's not that modem.
we
Where do you announce? Yeah, we
So
don't watch
it's
those.
always on the
right. Well, you could see us too, right?
between 4,000 and 1,000.
It's one of the only
And it's
airports with
just
a box,
west of
right?
Tracy, west of the Tracy Airport.
Yeah, it's to the east. So if you look at runway 30,
Right there.
so you've got 30 and 26, right? Like this. So it's between those runways, and it's out where, you know where the cement plant is? Where that road goes like that?
All right.
That's where it is.
I've got a box for you. When I was still a student pilot, I was out practicing in the practice area. And I discovered that the Patriots have a box.
Yes, they do. Right outside of Byron.
Right underneath it. Right over here.
Well, the other thing that I've taken Ava along on is in our pits, we do formation aerobatic flying. And she's been in the front on one of those. And that's kind of eye-opening because we take off together and we do our aerobatics together. So all these loops we do together. So that'll be her probably next step. And we're going to do sportsman next.
Yes.
Okay.
Still deciding which plane.
Yeah.
Instead of letting go of the stick, could you just hold it in center?
Yeah. What I teach, when I teach private pilots, they've got the yoke. They're scared to death to let go of it. I tell them open fingers. So you can still have the yoke, but open your fingers. Because closing your fingers, you're going to grip. I'm telling you, what's going to happen? They stall, oh my God, and they turn the... And I do this with all of my students. I take them up and I spin them on the 172, just to show them you're not going to die, not the end of the world. Pull the throttle, let go, step on the rudder, everything's going to be fine.
High wing versus low wing behavior difference?
I'm sorry?
High wing versus low wing, is there a difference in behavior?
Very, very. It just depends on the airplane. If you have an extra, they're very slippery. They don't really have a center. The Pitts and some other high wing airplanes, they have more of an aerodynamic center. So if you let go of the stick, they'll stay. The other ones are more slippery, where you've got to constantly be maneuvering, right? And they will, a Pitts will spin if you look sideways at it. How many times have we spun accidentally on purpose, right? You know, I'll say, hey, Ava, let me show you this. I'm going to take it all the way to 0, then I'm going to kick it around, and we're going to do a hammerhead. And then next thing you know, we're upside down, going as fast as you can go. Upside down, it's like, oh, gee, sorry. Right.
Well, we're talking about aerobatic planes. What about a 172 versus a Piper?
I like low wing airplanes. I did my CFI in a PA 28-200. I prefer them because you have better visibility. You can see the one.
In terms of spinning, no power.
No problem.
The yoke.
No problem. It'll work. And the hands-off recovery, I didn't invent it. It was invented in 1912 by Lieutenant Park, Royal Air Force. He got himself into a spin and he went, oh my God, let go. And that's how it was developed. Gene Beggs, a Pitts pilot, a very famous Pitts competitor, was the one who perfected it. I'm just regurgitating what somebody's already learned. But let me tell you, pull the big fan off first. That thing is creating so much torque. We got the 4 forces, but think about it like this. You've got an engine and you've got weight behind the center of gravity, and they're spinning. What's that going to do? It's going to lock at some point centrifugally, right? It's going to lock into a spin. Now you've got to do something. With a 172, seriously, let go. It won't even spin. A 172 can't spin unless you make it. You can try as hard as you want. I pulled them up 60, 70 degrees, and it's still hard to spin them, especially to the right. They don't want to spin. So start with the hands-off recovery. Power, stick, rudder. If that doesn't work and you're upright, go full forward stick. If you're inverted, go full aft. Right? But start with that. Yes, sir.
Back to the basics one more time. So about reducing power, why can't you power out of the stall? Or spin? Why can't you just give it enough thrust forward? Even if you do a torque roll, why can't you get enough speed? If you can double the thrust, to regain?
Well, what's going to happen when you add thrust? Two things. You're going to increase the torque.
Yeah.
What else is you going to do? You're going to increase the angle of attack. Is that really what you want to do?
Why would it increase the angle?
Because it's going to raise the nose. It is going.
Why will it raise the nose? Because your thrust was forward.
What was that, John?
I just say in a turbine you can do it because you don't have the torque.
Yeah, you don't have the torque.
You don't have the thrust.
But you're driving all that air over the tail, right?
Yeah.
You're torquing it. You're also, the wing is just naturally going to start lifting. Try it once.
So if you add speed, it'll lift the nose.
Well, here's the other thing. How do you know if you're in a spin? By looking at the airspeed indicator.
I don't know.
It's got to be stalled, right? So the airspeed is here at stall. So if you're spinning, the airspeed is stuck at stall airspeed. So even though you're going down, like it seems like really fast, you're really not going down that fast. You're going straight down, but you're torquing around. But if you are stalled, you are never going to unstall it by holding the stick aft or by adding power. It will never come unstalled. Pull the power back, release the stick. When you release the angle of attack, when you release the thrust, the nose is going to fall naturally, right? Anytime you take power off the airplane, what happens? Yeah, airplanes are naturally going to do that. Like the Pitts, when I get in trouble and I'm trying to do something like really crazy, I get it up and I'm like, uh-oh. First thing I do is pull power. Then I just start neutralizing everything. I'm going to have somebody read. This is an F-18 recovery. Who's got good eyes? It's 13 steps. Who would like to read it?
I don't think my eyes are good enough to read that.
Who's young?
I can't see.
Who's young?
Good eyes.
You look young.
I'm not that young.
Okay, so this is the out of control for an F-18. And so we complained to the test center, right? So it starts here, right? It's 13 steps that you had to memorize before you could take an F-18 and do air combat. Okay, you go ahead and start reading it.
So controls, neutral speed brake in, 2 throttle idle, 3 altitude, AOA, airspeed, yaw rate, and
My head's banging off the canopy.
DD
I'm going up and down.
4 full lateral stick with arrow, 5 spin recovery switch, RCBY,
Right.
6 FCS reset.
Okay, that button's back here, okay? Now my helmet is literally banging off the canopy. It's like throwing a lead pipe. Go ahead.
7 full lateral stick with arrow, 8 lateral stick neutral, 9 spin recovery switch, check norm, 10 longitudinal stick, full FWD and AOA positive, full AFT and AOA negative, 11 throttle, mil or max, 12 above 150 knots, roll upright and recover, 13
Eject. No shit. If you can get through that in so we call Pax River. So I'm an operational test pilot, right? So I called Pax River. My friend Larry McEnroe's there. I go, Scout, you got to get it better than that. Here's what it is now. And this is for all F-18s. Throttle idle, speed brakes in, feet on the floor, grab the Jesus rail. We call them the tow racks. But hold on. Let the airplane do. If it goes into a spin, all 4 screens come up, stick left. In the F-18, you recover with the aileron. That's it. It takes that long to do. 13 steps. By the time you read it, we're already crashed. Yeah. I'm already in the chute because I've already ejected and said, oh, the hell with this. Right?
Step 7.
I don't know if you guys have heard the Italians have a new space program. Anybody Italian in this room besides me? Right? So Luigi Giuseppe goes over to NASA and he says, we got a new space program. We're going to do something original. So NASA said, well, what's it going to be, Giuseppe? He said, well, we don't want to orbit the Earth. Everybody done it. We don't want to go to the moon. He said, we're going to go to the sun. And he said, my God, it's 10,000 degrees. If you go to the sun, you'll melt. He said, no, 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 we got it all figured out. We're going to go at night. And any other questions?
Well, I know we're talking about spins, but also you mentioned stalls, and you know we have the video of a plane that just stalled.
Yep.
And this year at Oshkosh, unfortunately, we lost 2 people
Yep.
in a Lancer. And what they were doing, and it was the same when Robin was coming in. They cleared her for 3-6 left, and they kind of delayed and said purple dot. And there was another plane in front of us, so he had to really make a pretty steep bank to get on to 3-6 left. I think they're calling it too late. And in this Lancer, it was that type of thing, but he made him widen it out. And he's low to the ground and put it in a bank. And what happens here? L over D changes, right?
Right.
And boom, wing stall, right in.
And what do people do when the wing stalls and you're going left? What do? You do exactly what you shouldn't do. Exactly what you shouldn't do. What you should do is go forward and aileron into this. But nobody can. You can't think that fast. Because when the ground's rushing up, it's like, oh my God. And that's what happens. And it's right in.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully this has been helpful. If it'll get one of you out of a spin, that's a good thing. Right? Do not do what Ava just showed you without a little bit of training. Seriously.
How much does spin training cost?
For like just a normal,
Any one of us to show up at Excel?
it's about $200 an hour. If you're airline guys, I'll probably give you a reduced rate. Okay? If you're Marines, it's free. So if you go out and join the Marine Corps and come back, But yeah, so about 200 an hour. My rate is normally 100 to 120. We can negotiate that, okay? The main thing is to get you safe.
About a decade ago, they taught the PARE method, P-A-R-E.
Yes.
Real similar to what you're talking about. Do they still teach that?
Yeah. If you could say all those words while your head's banged, it's, you know, power to idle, ailerons and neutral. It's like if you could say all those words, power. Okay. Mr. Youngblood, stand.
I got a canard.
Okay, sit. Say the words.
I don't stall. Yeah. What, power neutralize?
Power, stick.
Neutralize, stick, rudder.
Okay, somebody else.
Power stick rudder.
Thank you.
Power stick rudder.
Power stick rudder.
That's it, guys. And obviously the fourth step is when the rudder stops, you know, let go. Right? That, I didn't want to put that because it's obvious, but get it out. Otherwise, you're going to spin the other way, and then you get to do it all over again. Yeah, that's part of the fun part. All right.
All right.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.